call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta fill the engine. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Today, we're just going to be going over what I expect to see coming into this season from each position on the Miami Dolphins. I think we made a bunch of upgrades. I think there are some things to look at. I think what I think. And we're going to just go over each thing. So starting off with the quarterback position, obviously Tua Tagovailoa. The guy needs to stay healthy. I don't know any other way to put it. You have to have your quarterback on the field all year. I think we're the only team that is dealing with this right now consistently, where the quarterback just does not stay on the field. And again, everybody that watches this channel knows that I'm a big Tua fan, but you cannot be getting injured for multiple games. One game, you hurt your finger or something like that. Okay, fine. Couple games, fine. But the problem is that we have Tua being out for 4 or 5 games each year. That cannot happen, because every time that happens, we fall apart. So he needs to stay on the field the entire year. But the expectation for him, if he stays on the field the entire year, we're going to the playoffs. We're going to be a playoff team, and we're probably going to win a couple of those. But he needs to stay on the field. He has to stay on the field and maintain being the starting quarterback all year. We'll go into the other quarterbacks, but I don't really care about them. I don't want to see Mike White. I don't want to see Skylar Thompson. I know people are going to make a big deal about it, but guys, if we see one of these quarterbacks on the field, this year isn't going right. That's just a pure fact of it. I'm sorry to say that, but if we see for multiple games Mike White or Skylar Thompson, this year is not going the way that we wanted, and we're probably going to draft another quarterback. It's just as simple as that. Love Tua, but he has to stay on the field. He cannot be missing games. So with the quarterback position, I think we have one of the best quarterbacks in the league if he stays on the field. That's the only problem. I think you have the next Drew Brees if he stays on the field. But he needs to stay on the field. I don't want to see the other quarterbacks. Running backs. Mostert, I think he's going to do excellent this year. Now, we'll see what happens at the trade deadline, because we might be trying to go for somebody later on, aka Jonathan Taylor, somebody like that. I don't know. But Raheem Mostert, I think, will carry the load for this team. I think he will have 1,000 yards this year if we do not get another running back. If they decide to see, I think by the trade deadline as well, we'll see what Mostert is about. If Mostert again is missing games, and I think Mostert again is kind of just like Tua. He has all the talent in the world. He just gets injured a lot. If Mostert starts doing his thing and isn't injured, I don't think that we go for anybody else. So I think Mostert, if he stays on the field the entire year, he has over 1,000 yards, and he is breaking tackles left and right. Now the next one, Devon Achane. That's an interesting scenario. So Devon Achane, I think if he continues to grow in this offense, I think Mostert is going to be the bell cow right now. But I think with Devon Achane, you have a guy that is going to play significant time this year and is going to get a lot of reps, not just as a running back. I think we're probably going to run the ball more with Mostert, and then maybe somebody else. And I think Devon Achane will definitely be the guy you're splitting out wide. The guy that you're splitting out wide, putting him into slot receiver stances, moving him in motion, all those different things. I think he's going to give a lot of security for Tua when it comes to the passing game, and I think we're going to utilize him a lot, and I think it's only going to progress throughout the year. And me as a person that believes in Devon Achane, I think if he adds, I don't think he'll add any more weight during the season, but definitely if he does what I think he's going to do, I think is just going to make this team unbearable to play against, because he's going to be the guy that is running all over the field and taking pressure off of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Braxton Berrios. And then you have Salvon Ahmed. I think he'll get a couple of plays, not much to talk about. Chris Brooks, and Jeff Wilson. So I want to see Jeff Wilson's on IR. He's always injured. I would like to see, which would be interesting, and I think they're going to try it in a couple of the games. If it could be Chris Brooks added to that running back situation, and see if they play him a couple of times in short yardage situations, because I really liked what Chris Brooks did. I think he has a lot of talent, and he can be the bullish running back in this room, because Chris Brooks can be somebody that we all didn't see coming, but he could be used in a lot of packages, and I believe that he could be our 4th and 1, goal and 1, all those type of situations. He could be that guy. There's a reason that he made the team, and they see something in him. So we'll see if he keeps progressing throughout the year, and if he goes into the rotation. That would be exciting. I would like to see Chris Brooks. I think he can. I think he can most certainly be put in the rotation. Wide receivers, not much to talk about here. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, elite, probably the best wide receiver duo in the entire league. Just straight up by statistics and everything, just the best wide receiver duo that any team has, I believe. Braxton Berrios is going to be the key here, though. Braxton Berrios is going to be the guy that, if he can play like a Wes Welker type of wide receiver slot style of wide receiver, he will definitely take so much pressure off of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and he will allow them to get more open, because last year, like I said, Trent Sherfield didn't really get a lot of separation. But now that you have somebody that can play in the underneath routes, you can take pressure off of. The whole fact of what the Chargers did last year is they pushed everybody back because they knew that Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are the guys that we get the ball to. Now we have Braxton Berrios and obviously Devon Achane. You have more people that you have to account for. It's not just a two-man show anymore. So now what you're going to do is you have a guy that Braxton Berrios, I think his expectations are through the roof this year, where he can have the defense have to pull back a little bit, because they can't just push back to get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, because Braxton Berrios will catch the ball and take it up for 10 yards. So it's kind of like pick your poison. And you have Cedric Wilson. I think he'll get some playing time. I think Cedric Wilson did a couple of good things in preseason. But it is what it is. It's Cedric Wilson. I think Izukama is definitely going to get into the rotation. I think you just can't keep somebody explosive like that on the sidelines. So I think he'll get a couple of plays here and there, see what he can do, and then we'll keep ramping it up throughout the season, where maybe, he gets into that where it's the 4 of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios, and then Izukama. Who else do we have on this team? Oh, River Craycraft. He is what he is. He's just going to be a super reliable guy. We'll see if he gets playing time, because I think Braxton Berrios is just a better River Craycraft. And, so that would be the wide receiver room. I don't really need to go over anybody else. Those are going to be the main guys. The offensive line, I think I am definitely more secured with. I think Isaiah Wynn gives me a little more comfort. When we were starting the offseason, it was Liam Eichenberg, and I think everybody and their mother was like, that guy he can't start. There's no way that he can start. He gets blown by every time. So Isaiah Wynn, I think, has secured it. The one key here is Teron Armstead is already injured, maybe possibly could miss week 1. That is just kind of annoying, honestly. It's like you pay somebody like this, and already the first game, big, meaningful game, you're already out, or possibly out. So that left tackle spot is still kind of up for grabs. Connor Williams needs to get the snaps right. We cannot have another one of those preseason snaps that he did. That was terrible. I'm a little worried about that. Robert Hunt, solid, always solid. Austin Jackson, I told you guys, he's doing his thing. He's just not being talked about. It's just a smooth glide. So I think Austin Jackson will come in. Like I said, he's not going to be an elite offensive lineman, but he's okay. He's stable there, and that's all we needed. That's all we needed him to be. You know what I'm saying? So more so, I'm more worried about the left tackle spot at this point, because Teron Armstead is constantly injured. So we'll see what happens with that. Now the defense, the defensive line, it's stellar. There's not really much to talk about there. The defensive line is stellar. It is stellar. The outside linebackers, I'm really happy with. I mean, the defense in general, I'm happy with it. I'm excited to see what Bradley Chubb can do. I think he's going to step into the mold. Jalen Phillips is going to be a monster this year. And David Long, I think, is going to be somebody that's ridiculous to watch as well. I mean, there's not much you can say. Jerome Baker's Jerome Baker. But David Long, I think, is going to be the key here as well. Corners. Cater, I'm excited to see. Is he a one-hit wonder, or is he the guy that is one of the best pass coverage guys in the league? I think it's the latter. I think he's going to prove that he can be the starter, and then when Jalen Ramsey comes back, put him in the slot, and then you have 3 lockdown corners. Xavier Howard, I think he was injured last year. He was in a bad situation with Josh Boyer, and I think this year he's going to definitely revert back to the old Xavier Howard. Now that this style of defense allows him to look in the backfield, I think he's going to have many more interceptions. I think we're fine with Xavier Howard. I think he had one bad year, and everybody's trying to turn on him. It is what it is, man. It's just a fan base. You're injured. You're playing in a bad. You're on an island every single week playing against the best receivers with an off injury. It's tough, but I think he'll come into his own. And then the safeties, man. Javon Holland's a stud. I think he's going to do studly things. And I do believe that Brandon Jones is going to be the starter this year. I think those two in tandem, I think we forgot about Brandon Jones. I think there's going to be plenty of ways that he can do his thing at the safety position. I just don't think Deshaun Elliott kind of showcased enough. But we'll see what happens. Maybe he does. But I think it's going to be Brandon Jones and Javon Holland, and I'm okay with that. I like that safety duo. I think it's going to be good. I think you put Brandon Jones in a different system as well, and it's going to make him better. You know what I'm saying? He's still a great blitzing, safety. And I think you teach him more of the things of Vic Fangio's defense. I think he can transition more into a safety. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the defense. And then Vic Fangio is just going to turn this whole entire defense around. I'm happy with the defense. And the expectations for the Miami Dolphins are going to be, a couple playoff wins or a Super Bowl. That's the expectations. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get to the playoffs to lose in the first round. That should not happen. We have such a stacked team. And to be honest, if we don't make the playoffs, there's some serious, it's just going to be one of those things where we just make another change again. But I believe we go to the playoffs. I believe that we win a couple games and we start putting the Dolphins on the map this year. Those are the expectations that I would have for this team. But comment down below. Let me know what you think I missed, who you think I missed, whatever that you would feel you would like to comment. What are your expectations for the team? As always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.